Looks like we got it this time, folks. We're back. It's the Andy and Amanda Show, and we are back better late than never. Better late than never. We got it. We connected. We're here just outside of Hollywood, California, and we're also in the UK live. A couple issues with our earlier attempt to connect here across the 8,000 miles, but we're able to do it now. We want to welcome everybody to our Friday show here on the Andy and Amanda program. It's been a great week. And there's a weekend ahead, man. We're going to talk about the stock market and what a wacky, crazy week it's been on the market. We'll talk about that in a little while. And, talk about, let's see what else we can talk about here. What else we got?
Doggy style for sure.
Talk about that a little bit. Why not?
Wow. Okay.
What the hell?
Yeah, let's talk about that. You know, I saw a dog pass by like 10 minutes ago.
I was going to say.
Some style. He was dripping, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing much better, sweetie. Yeah.
I'm glad. You sound better.
So,
you're a little under the weather earlier in the week. Yeah,
pretty much. But I'm still like pre-warning everybody. If I sound a bit stuffy, I apologize. I'm going to try and pronounce my words as clearly as possible today. So, you know, bear with me.
Gosh. You know, we're starting late today, but we're still going to run, hopefully, I think we're going to run the full 90-minute show today on Friday. And we're going to I want to cut right into some things that are going on this week. And I think Lee Van Dusen is going to join us a bit later and talk about this crazy week it's been in the stock market, AMC and Game Sto. What is going on? What is happening here? I can tell you what I did. I did some fun things which worked out in my favor with the tumbling market, and I'll address those a bit later on too. But what I want to do is talk about a few things that we have some. We have a field reporters out there here on the Andy and Amanda Show. We go behind the headlines. We go into news. We go diving deep. We go finding out what's going on. What through the conversations. What is the cause of various things that surface in the headlines and we're able to generate that and talk about it here on the Andy and Amanda Show. Makes us a little bit unique, you know. But anyway, you know, Jen Psaki, I guess it is, who's the press conference person that you hear behind the podium. She's, you know, the press secretary, Joe Biden's press secretary, and leads all the press conferences. And she's had kind of interesting time talking about the various processes that take place in the White House, and we sent some of our folks out there and were able to get some of the inside. We found this clip, you know, from the press poll, and we're going to play it for you now, and move. You haven't heard nothing yet. Hang in there, folks. We'll be right back. Take a listen to this.
It looks like there was a conflation of two ongoing processes, one that's through the courts and one that is through the CFIUS process that goes through the Department of Treasury. There is a rigorous CFIUS process that is ongoing. I'm not going, of course, not that you're expecting me to, set a precedent of commenting on those reviews in process, but would just stress that they are distinct processes.
That's a lot of processes. I wonder if that's her new favorite phrase.
Okay, $375. Will that be cash or credit?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because processing each of those processes is a different process of processes.
Right. Well, the process here is you give me $375.
I'm not going to set a precedent of commenting on those processes, except to say that they are two distinct processes. Hello?
Honey, oh my God, the roof is leaking. I got water pouring into the house. I need the number for the roofer right now.
Well, as I said before, President Biden does take climate change very seriously. That's why we have rejoined the Paris Climate Accords.
You don't understand. The water's pouring into the house right now.
I understand that there is a flooding process that is ongoing. I am processing that. But I really think you just need to calm down and trust the process.
Yes, wise advice. Trust the process.
Yes. Oh my God! I don't think I could survive the process of being a presidential press secretary. I don't care who's in office, man. What a job that's got to be. What a job that's. Speaking of the president.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of the president, Amanda, there's been news we've been following here about a rumor news that that the press has been cutting off Joe Biden's microphone when they are not the press, excuse me. They've been cutting off his microphone from the press when his handlers feel that he should stop talking, and. We had explored, They feel they should cut off his microphone. So we here at the Andy Demanda Show, and remember, only on the Andy Demanda Show, we have the ability here to kind of dive into this a little bit here and explore it further. And let's just cut right to the chase here and talk about what we have been able to find regarding his handlers. Is this true or not? We don't know. Is it a bunch of bullshit? We don't know, but we're going to explore it and hear what other people are having to say about it too. Here we go. Take a listen on the Andy and Amanda Show.
Now, one Senator Rich from Idaho, he's demanding to know who's really in charge at the White House.
No one is going to tell me what to do at what time. I'm in charge.
Listen to this, Katie. Roll tape, please.
Fuck you, bitch. This is a puppeteer act, if you would, and we need to know who's in charge and who's making these decisions. Somebody in the White House has authority to press the button and stop the president, cut off the president's speaking ability and sound. Who is that person?
Fuck you.
So there is a lot made of the fact that his mic was cut early.
Well, the real question here is the president's cognitive ability.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Mm-hmm. It seems like his handlers are protecting him because if he goes out there and ad-libs and responds to questions, he may say something that's really off script and something which he should not say.
You get $2.5 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox. You put the rest into the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. And that puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you.
So it's the president's cognitive ability. I keep returning to this because I think questions should be asked.
Did your grandfather take risks?
They should be asked, and you have a White House that, in my view, is in full cover-up mode on that very issue. You have Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, yesterday, having the audacity to say,
don't drink. That's all I have to say to anybody.
There's just full-blown cover-up mode here.
They're doing the same thing, Andy. They're doing the same thing.
Hey, listen, we have on board our show right now from the great state of Hawaii, none other than let me think again. No, I'm kidding. Guy, let me see. Who is it again? Wait, you want to hear this? You want to hear this? No booze. No, you want to hear this. Anyway, Chet is back. Chet, welcome back aboard.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Chet. How have you been? How have you
guys?
It's good to have you back. Good to hear your voice.
Oh,
it's
yes,
so good
it is.
To be back.
Aww.
You guys you're like the constantly moving target, and then of course having your show at 9 a.m. on the West Coast puts me at still
6.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
at 6 a.m.
Oh, bless you. How is everything there? Going all right?
Pardon?
I said, how is everything there? Is it going okay?
It's going okay. COVID's shooting through the roof, so people are, being locked. The gatherings are being shut down again. And although our gigs are still going, they're masking up again at the farmers markets.
Oh.
But yeah, at least now we're doing a once every other week 5-hour gig at one of the markets. Playing for 5 hours is quite an interesting thing.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
Well, COVID here. Well, it's I don't know if you heard, but we're finally out of lockdown since August, and they're complaining now that we could have a light lockdown because with the winter coming, how that virus could spread. And it would just mean things like urging people to work from home and to mask up again. But they're pretty confident that these double vaccinations are going to help everybody, and it won't be as dramatic, but we're still going to see, I think, spikes here and there, which is natural. But we shall see how that goes here. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's holding on.
Took 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Whoa.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 years before they got the Spanish flu under control. They kept thinking, everything's fine now. Of course, that was in the spring.
Yeah.
And they'd all go crazy, and then it would flare up again as soon as the fall came along.
Wow. Yeah.
And
I wonder how much we've learned between then and now.
Almost zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, evidently. I haven't been keeping track.
Of course, 100 years isn't very long in evolutionary terms, so
clearly not.
Using the same software up there in that 2.5 pound lump of gray matter.
I know, right? All those sparks flying, and we still can't make a decent jump forwards.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
You make a decent cup of coffee in most places.
Yeah, it's crazy. But how's everything go for you? I'm sure our listeners remember Chet and would love to hear how you've been doing, what you've been up to.
Well, mostly doing. I got pulled kicking and screaming and whining into Facebook.
Oh, you did?
In order to promote the book that my friend wrote, my late friend Davey Walsh wrote, and we were trying to get some buzz going.
Yeah.
A bus? What bus was that? A bus going?
Yeah, buzz.
Buzz. I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to start a bus. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? All right, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, we're trying to get a bus here.
2,900 miles of water to get in the way of a bus tour. But
yeah.
Buzz. Yeah, that's a real jungle. I mean, when I first saw Facebook, I thought, I've been in computer programming and systems design and all that garbage since 1965, and that was where I made most of my money when I wasn't playing music for subsistence level wages. My first hit was, this is some of the crappiest user interface I've ever seen. And then when I had to get into it, my suspicions were entirely confirmed that it's total user hostile experience for anybody, with any knowledge of good software interfaces.
Kind of crazy.
And, who gets dragged kicking and screaming and whining into this weird universe of, I was taught to, keep some things to yourself. I was brought up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and my mom, was kind of a very private person, and it was, there's certain things that you just keep to yourself.
I happen to agree with that,
God, we got an entire generation and a half now that thinks it's cool to just blab it all. And
here's a guy. We got a guy here who's a familiar voice to all. Speaking of COVID and resurgence and so forth, none other than who's joining us here, but Michael Cohen, the former Trump attorney. Well, listen to him blab it all. Listen to this.
Oh, Mike!
The platform that you have arguing with Trumpers. Look, if you cannot waste your time arguing with Trumpers. They are so fucking out of their mind, in the cold, stupid, that these fucking morons refuse to acknowledge that science is real, that the pandemic is real. They continue, even though that Trump the other day turned around and finally acknowledged that everybody should get the vaccine. Could you fucking imagine after a year of sitting there and telling people not to get it, you don't need it, it's like a flu, don't worry, everybody's gonna be fine, with 640,000 Americans now deceased as a result of this Trump virus, not the Wuhan flu.
Yeah.
He did a good impression of him right there, didn't he? I thought he was good. I've never heard of.
Good, close.
Did you ever play a show? It just occurred to me. I guess you're talking about sound men and microphones and things. When you're sitting there in the middle of a song, and the mic boom stand isn't tight, and it just starts lowering and lowering, lowering. And you're ducking down and going, ducking and going lower, or chasing the microphone, chasing the microphone.
It's really. It's
down.
That's a literal.
Suddenly you're doing the lumbo.
A literal
What's it called?
version of singing from your diaphragm.
Yes. Yeah. What's that thing called? You go into the stick.
Down that far.
Limbo.
Yeah.
Limbo.
What's that old dance? The limbo. The lumbo. The lumbar.
The limbo.
The bimbo.
I used to win those limbo contests.
Yeah.
It's the flaccid microphone syndrome, I call it.
Yes. I hate when that happens. I've had people come up. Not this happened a lot, but I remember one time somebody came up on stage and fixed it. The sound man didn't see it, so somebody in the audience came up and fixed it. I couldn't. It was embarrassing, but anyway, I remember that one time.
There's Andy on his knees.
Yeah. I was. People thought I was going to do a sword swallowing thing there. Yeah.
Oh wow! Excellent. Or one of those fire swallowing tricks.
And of course, one could wonder now, why in hell don't we just stop and fix it?
See, I've got this image of you guys on stage doing that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got my picture etched in my mind now. I'm sure our listeners have as well.
I really had it go down, to where I'm like leaning over, really down almost to diaphragm level in order to keep finish the chorus anyway. So then I could just vamp on the guitar for a while until somebody notices.
Or it's like, hey guys in the audience, hope you don't mind. I'm just going to lie here and sing this song for you. Play the guitar on my back. See how it sounds.
I'm going to wrap up this song early. Of course, another of my favorites was I went to a concert in Berkeley, and it was John Prine and Nancy Griffith, bless her soul, R.I.P., both of them, was opening. And Nancy was out on stage in this big auditorium in Berkeley. I think it was the Civic Auditorium. And she's standing there, and the guitar mic was working. The vocal mic was dead.
Ooh.
And the sound people were obviously probably running around trying to figure out what the hell's wrong. Signal path. And Nancy was kind of noodling on the guitar a little bit. And then she leaned down to the guitar mic and said, I'm sorry about this, but between John and I, we make only one good guitar player. They loved her after that. They just loved her. And they finally got the vocal. They brought out another mic, I think, and got the vocal going. And it was a great show. But she was a treasure. God, I had such a crush on her forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you and me both.
Oh, man. Since the first time I saw her in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. I used to play. Well, I played guitar with this woman, singer-songwriter. I used to be her guitar player, named Veronica Ford. I'm going way back, but she did the song "Love at the Five and Dime," and it's a hard life. And I got into Nancy Griffith at the time, and I've seen her at various festivals and folk clubs back in the late '80s, early '90s. And boy, I'll tell you, and then I think she moved to Ireland for a while and came back here to Nashville.
I haven't
heard from her.
I think a lot of female singers back then had an edge to them in appearance and in style and everything. in the 80s and 90s. I don't know what it was. It was kind of like a magic moment of women having that edge, you know?
Yeah. You know,
I noticed that.
They were finally allowed out in public.
And the question is, should they have ever been? Oh, excuse me. No, anyway, no.
Andy. Right, come on. You're standing in the naughty corner. Come on.
Houston, we have a problem.
I saw Nancy the first time at Strawberry Music Festival at Camp Mather, Yosemite, and it was just a amazing performance. But my second ex-wife and a friend of mine and I, his favorite song was "Love at the Five and Dime." So after that performance, the three of us were wandering around campground until about 2 or 3 in the morning, singing "Love at the Five and Dime" with 3-part harmony and 2 guitars.
Oh my gosh!
It was just for hours. We just did it. We just loved it so much.
And our listeners might want to, if they don't know it, many people, because we're in 20 some odd countries around the world, and some people might have the question, who, what song? But Nancy Griffith is her name, and the tune we're talking about is a great tune of hers called "Love at the Five and Time," all about the 5 and 10 cent
NANCI.
Yes, NANCI. GRIFFITH. And actually, I have a what do you call that site? Bliblob, Blue. What?
Bluetooth.
What's that? Blip, blop, blue, blop, blip, Vicky, blop. What's the set? What's that site? Not the little, not the video. You put the little videos up in the
TikTok.
Damn. Thank you. TikTok. Thank you. Thank you.
I was trying to get there from Blue and Blub and everything. I was like,
Yes. See, Amanda gets it. She knows, I can say anything. She knows exactly what I mean. It doesn't really, if the right words don't come out or not. But anyway, I have a video. I was asked after Nancy Griffith had died, I got requests, hey, can you show some Nancy Griffith songs? She plays some Nancy Griffith songs. I don't really perform any. But I did put up a guitar instruction video as to how you play it. So if you go to Andy Kimball on TikTok, you'll see TikTok. Yeah, you can learn how to play the tune if you hear it and you like it. There's a little video of me showing you how to do it. But anyway, hey, listen, we're going to try to get hold of somebody. It's our Friday show. And Chet, you've been out for a while, but Fridays we've been talking about the AMC stock squeeze, GameStop, what's going on in the market. I mean, it's been very exciting. I started getting into the market in late July and have done pretty well. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. We're going to bring on our resident expert, if we can call him. Let's see if this works now. We've had such issues with this internet thing today. Hey, it might work. Let me see. We're going to ask him a question if he answers the phone. Are you there? Hey, he's there.
What's up?
We have Lee Van Dusen, where our question of the day is...
How long should sex last? Oh, shit. How you guys doing today?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm on the road this episode, heading down to San Diego.
We're hearing a little bit of echo. We're hearing a little bit of a kickback. We're hearing a little, like we say something, we can hear it reverberating, like echoing back at us. Maybe turn your car radio. Maybe turn your car radio down a little bit or something. I don't know.
All right. How about now?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Better.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. And we have Chet on the line, and Chet was a regular guest on our show for a long period of time. And then we changed our hours a lot, kind of to find the peak periods to find an audience, which must be interesting to do. But anyway, given all the shows. But what we have realized, though, is most people, it doesn't matter when we go on live, because about 80% of our audience, or actually more than that, listens to the podcast, of which we have well over 1,000 downloads of our show on podcast, and about 7 live. Anyway, but
I've tried to call
I wouldn't be able to hear that if we didn't do this.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. Yeah. So anyway, so Lee, it's been a crazy week in the market, not just with AMC, but in general. And I got to tell you, I've had some fun with it, and because AMC, which is predicted to have a squeeze, we went all over that in the last few weeks, is predicted to shoot up to astronomical levels when they start calling in the short sales. All the huge industrial buyers who bought it short, and a lot of us retailer buyers are not letting it go as short as they want to, and eventually they're going to call those options in, and they're going to have to be canceled and paid for, and that's what's going to create the squeeze. In a nutshell, that's pretty much what it is. It's a little more complicated than that, but in a nutshell. And so AMC started going up, as you know, Lee, right? And then it was up in the 50s, and it was going up and up and up, and I was buying. Actually, I bought in segments, going up all the way, as a lot of people do, I guess. But I did something interesting. Can I tell you what it is? It's going down. As a matter of fact, it's 45 now, and I bought some shares at 50, 48, 47, a lot of shares. I mean, I came in big time, right? And it was going up and up, and I want to get on that ride. So it doesn't matter what the hell the price is. I'm here. Whatever it is, I'm buying it, But the only thing is, I've got X amount of cash to invest in it, so it just means you buy less shares. But I wanted to buy more shares. Well, how do you buy more shares for less? You wait till it goes back down. You sell it at what you paid for it. You don't lose any money. Matter of fact, maybe you make a little money. You wait till it hits bottom. Then you reinvest, but you're buying more shares. Then go for the ride back up again.
That's exactly how you do it.
Yeah,
it's called buying the dip, selling in the money. I mean, that's exactly how you do it. That's what pisses these hedge funds off. Is there's no rhyme or reason, in the stock market world for anyone to buy in on the dip. It's just not how the stock market works. You don't buy when it's down. You just don't buy on the dip. So every time that they short us like this, I mean, what are we at right now, Andy? We're in the power hour. I think it's about to close soon.
Yeah, 45.225. That's a little old, but right around 45.
Yeah, they're knocking this thing way down today. I mean, as soon as I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a red day. I can already tell what they're doing, and we're just buying back in. So it's like, I think it's so funny. I play it out in my head because I'm like, I come on the radio show, and I'm just fucking dying laughing. I have so much fun with you guys. And I think about the opposition, the opponents, these motherfuckers that we're trying to beat, and they are screaming right now like, holy shit, these people just keep buying. How do we minimize this? Like, how do we minimize? Like, at this point, they know that this is going to happen. So how do we minimize the hurt, the pain that we're about to go through? And the answer is you really can't, because the movement just keeps growing and growing and growing. And the people that went short on this, I'm sorry, but fuck off. We're here to stay.
So I took a whole bunch of money, thousands of dollars out of AMC, and I didn't do bad on it because I bought a lot of that when it was 41, 42. I did buy some at 47, some at 51, so I may have taken a little bit. All in all, I'm not bad at all because I got off in increments as it's tumbling down because I want more shares. I don't care what the price is. I really don't, but I want more volume shares. And I have X amount of money. So you just have, that means you have to spend less for each share to get more shares, right? That's not rocket science. So the cool thing is I took a ton of money out, and I now have that back in my Fidelity account, and it's going to sit there for the weekend, let it breathe a little bit, and then Monday we'll play a game.
Exactly.
and I hope, and even though I've got some, I'm taking a loss on this. I don't know how many shares I bought at what price because I bought in increments. I don't know how many I bought at what price, but I know I bought some in the 50, 51 range, and it's at 44.9 right now. It's at 44.9, and I'm hoping it goes down to 41, 42. I lose some more, but I'm going to buy more. Wouldn't it be great if it went down even more? I don't think it will. I don't think we're going to see below 40, 41, 42, if we even see 42.
No.
You're going to see they might get us to 43 today. I think 42.85 was what we were testing under. So they want to get us get as close to that as they can. But, you know, for me, if I had the money, you know, what you're doing is great to make the money. But the problem is, and the reason why I don't do it, is because you don't know when the squeeze is going to happen. So, you know, if today ends on a red day, so that everybody says the market, you know, is based off of Mondays and Fridays. So if they end red today, and, you know, if they end red and we come back Friday, we could be, you know, in the red again. They could keep pushing us down. And that's typically how it goes. But for me, if we end this way and then some big-ass news drops over the weekend, and then I've got all my money out of AMC, and then that stock price shoots up, well, then I just screwed myself out of all the money that I would have had.
That's true. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it's just a risky game.
It is, but unfortunately, this is what you did to me, Lee. I blame nobody but you. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning our time, which is 8:30 in the morning. You know, a half hour before the market opens in New York, and all my screens are on. My big screen TV in my living room, 60-inch, whatever it is, screen is on, looking at all the charts, all the graphs, researching the news, see what's going on, where's AMC, who's doing what, and I've got other stocks too. And I've got my coffee, I'm going, I ring my little hotel bill at 9 o'clock, and I'm running around my living room with the buy-sell orders here, like I'm in Wall Street. So, so every morning I'm ready to push the button, buy, sell, and I've also got some limit buys, limit sells in, which have really been, and you taught me all about this, Lee. I never knew. I you know, what is a put, what is a call, all this stuff I'm learning. I don't know anything about the market whatsoever. It wasn't anything I ever did, you know. And now look what I'm doing. I made. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
But here I am. I mean, I've made as much. Actually, I'm down now, but it doesn't matter. It's like a couple of things I want to say. But I made money, then it came down. But my capital, you know, I didn't really take much of a loss. I mean, I was up. Wow, everything green. Man, I'm making money. I mean, I made more in a day than I've made in a guitar gig. And I'm sitting here at my computer, and I'm like, you know, God, I made a lot of money today. I mean, a lot, you know. And I sat here, and I'm looking at my guitars. My guitars are just sitting there, thinking, I might not need you guys anymore.
Your guitars are crying right now.
But
you start hearing this sad music coming from a room, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, what's that?"
Imagine that. But here's the beauty of this, and I think what I'm going to start doing is I want to download from YouTube. I want to start downloading the casino. You know, what I'm doing is this: I'm hiring a couple of models that I come into my where I work here, and to get me free drinks. You know, and I'm going to play the sounds of a background noise of a casino, like I'm at the casino, because here's the difference. Free drinks, wine, coffee, drinks. Yeah, yes, ma'am. This way. And here's
cigars.
the difference.
You need cigars.
You go to the casino, and imagine being able to put your money on the table and then changing your mind, taking it back and reorienting and taking the money back and putting it on another game, but getting your money back. Imagine being able to do that. So, you know, in a way, I mean, in a kind of micro thing, that's, you know, this is a much better, more intelligent way to go if you want to try to. I mean, why do you gamble? To try to make some money? You know, anytime you try to invest in anything as an investment, there's risk involved. Unless you get bonds or long-term things and annuities and things like that are very conservative and they pay you 3%. Well, heck, I've made 31%. I've made 19%. I'm averaging 13% right now, and I can turn that in a day. Bam! How are you going to do that anywhere? I mean, you can try to go to the casino, maybe put on red, maybe it'll land on red, but it might not. Here, if it doesn't quite work your way, you watch what it's doing, you monitor, you think, you read the news, see what's going on, and you take your bet off. You say, I changed my mind. I'm going over here.
You're literally doing what Wall Street doesn't want you to do. you're a retail investor. You're not supposed to be able to make money like this. You're doing what they don't want you to do. They want to win. They want all the money. They're greedy. That's just the way it is, and that's why this is going to change. So. Yeah. You know, when you see all these retail investors like yourself and myself and Andy or Amanda, and you'll just see it's going to be our market, and the whole dynamic of everything is going to change. So, you know, when we come out and we make these, all these millions of dollars and, trillions of dollars at this point. I mean, we're like 4,000 or 5,000% shorted on the float. It's ridiculous. So, we're going to make the market. So these people right now, these hedge funds, they get liquidated. We start our own, and then we're the market makers. And let me just tell you, we're trying to play a fair game because we came into this being offset and not playing a fair game and still winning. So we know what it feels like to be on the other end of this thing. The whole market is going to change. Everything is going to change when this happens. It's not going to happen in anyone's lifetime again. I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I have to teach my son about this because it ain't going to happen in my lifetime, but it might happen in his. So I at least got to let him know what this is. So this lottery ticket stock that you're buying, this will never happen. They can never let it happen again because it's going to crash everything. Mark my words, this is going to crash everything.
So it's got to. How could it not?
I feel my spider sense is tingling.
There's a couple of. I also found a company just in part of research called it's spelled SURROZEN, Surzen, and I got involved with them as a matter of fact because they're cloning tissue. So I gave them my nose, and their stock. As soon as I did that, their stock went way up, and I made a lot of money on them. So no, they're no really, but they're
Are you implying you got a big ass nose there, Andy?
I mean, if you can clone this, man, we're gonna make a fortune together. Anyway, but anyway, what they're doing is they're involved in disease research and cures and cloning tissue and I mean really incredible what they're doing. So I bought a couple shares, and then I bought actually more than a couple. I bought 15, 20 shares or something like that. And then I read about them in the news and they're saying more, they're surfacing more and more. I said, man, I want to go ahead and buy more, and I did, and bam, I bought it. And within minutes of my purchase, boom, I made my money right in there. And you see how this can be. I mean, you can also within minutes lose money. I mean, you got to realize this. But the difference is that if you play it smart, that's exactly right, Lee. You play it smart. You don't just go through and do any knee jerk. I mean, sometimes people have done things just based on, hey, you know what, I have a feel about this, and I'm going to do it. And sometimes people win, and many times people lose. But you're right, Lee. It's doing it. Look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
that's what's different about AMC. Like that's what's completely different about AMC because it's so predictable at this point that if you're not making money off of it, you're doing something wrong. I mean, they're literally saying, they're like, oh, these Reddit crowd, they're fucking people are like drunk buying at like 2 a.m. They don't care. And I mean, I'm like, well, I have and I made money. It's not like you don't really have to use your head so much for AMC. All you have to do is look at the chart. Like literally, when I woke up today, I saw it was a red day, and you can short it just like they are. If I know that it's going down, you can short it. But that's risky as shit because look how we're catching them do that. So, but it's so predictable. Is my point is that you could just make money selling it as it is right now. And I'll say it this way: let's say that I want X amount of shares when the squeeze happens. I'll be happy with X amount of shares when the squeeze happens. So if you got more than that already, then you can play that back and forth. So you got extra shares that you can be in the money with, and you can just make money off of it, kind of like what you're doing. So the other aspect of that is think about what Chris said on last week's show. Amanda, I think you missed it. Did you listen to it?
No, I wasn't there, my sweetie pie. I had my sister's wedding.
You, I know.
Yes.
So we had the accountant on, and
that's right.
Andy, what you got to realize is that when you're selling it, you got to pay tax, but you got to pay half on everything that you made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of this. So if you're playing short, but that's the difference. So he also said, if you're a date, you make money that you don't. So if you're doing that and you're doing well, then damn sure keep doing it, buddy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You do. I think the capital gains, if you do it within a year, is about in the vicinity of 48% of what you have to pay the government, right? But this is great having an accountant on last week, is because I didn't know this. Again, this whole thing is a learning process for me. I knew nothing prior to having Lee on the show here in July. But what he also said was, if you play it long, in other words, if you keep that investment in the market, just put it in there and visit it a year from where you put it in, and see how you did. If you do something like an Apple, a Microsoft, a Tesla, maybe NIO, which is the Chinese equivalent of Tesla, maybe Alibaba, which is the Chinese equivalent of Amazon, especially Christmas time.
Are you in those right now?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait. Okay. Wait. Andy, red flag.
No. I've done well though. I've done well.
You're doing well. No, wait. Hear me out. Trust me. Hear me out. You need to pull that shit like ASAP. The Chinese economy is straight up on the verge of a full collapse right now. Like breaking news this whole week. Like
it is.
Their stock market the whole thing is going to completely crash, and they're in serious trouble. So if you're invested in Chinese companies, you might be in big shit.
No, I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm ahead on Alibaba and NUA, but I've got limit sells in that still keep me in a profit. So when it goes down to a point of where I am here, let me see where I'm at here. I'm still good. All right. So when I go down to, I've got sell orders in. So I protected myself.
Okay. So you got limit sells.
Yep. I got limit sells.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I've got limit sell on.
But if they close the market, if they straight up close everything, you won't be able to sell. And then when it comes back open, it could be obliterated. So it's not as fair. I'm just keeping you up to date and real with this thing.
Yeah, but here's what I was saying though. So let's say you've got, the long run. NIO's going to give Tesla a run for the money in China. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's no question about it. Amazon, imagine Amazon going out of business. There's equivalent of Amazon in China. So here's what I'm saying: that unlike GameStop and AMC, where any week, any day, these things could shoot through the ceiling and become worth thousands of dollars a share. And we've talked about that, every week. And you have to pay 48% of that to the government, right? So you look at a company like a Tesla, a Microsoft, and Alibaba. Some of the Chinese economy is not going to go anywhere. They're there to stay. But so I'm looking at Alibaba and NIO for a year or a year and a half down the road investments. I'm not looking at I don't care what unless China's not going to close. They're not going to close. So I look at because if you bought them and sold them tomorrow, you'd be at a 48% tax consequence. If you wait a year, then you're at whatever your tax rate, your basis is. What are you paying? 38%.
You're playing long.
Playing long.
You're playing long
right.
after this. So after this crash, and let's say that everything just bottoms out. We're talking like just bottoms out. $1, $2, $3 a stock, like just hits the fan.
Yep.
You're still gonna play long and see where this thing goes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But here's the deal, though. I've got, just to protect me, I've got limit sells in. So if it goes, I don't, I'm kind of doing this, so I haven't lost any money doing this, really. I made down a couple dollars here, a few dollars.
My point is, if they close the market in 5 seconds from now, and they just crash, your limit sell doesn't mean shit.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, because if they close it and then they hit rock bottom and all these stocks fail because of that, then you're out of whatever you have in there. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just telling you.
Right.
Be careful. Because anything to do with China right now, I'm not touching it. I don't want anything to do with it.
I'm just looking at them in the long run. I'm just looking in the a year from now where they're going to be.
For sure. But make sure that you're still abiding by what we said. Don't bet what you can't afford to lose, because you could lose everything doing that. I'm just saying, red flag. It's my last warning. I promise you, it's risky as shit.
I'm confident of Neo, and I'm confident. You know, they're giving Tesla a big run for the money over there. This is a company, and Bob, I don't know. They've been up and down. You look at their history. And for those of you who don't know, Alibaba is the equivalent of Amazon here in the United States, but they're in China. So you can go to Alibaba, even things that you're looking at Amazon for, you can go to Alibaba and see what they might be selling products for. Just, you know, and they're in China and they've got
I actually thought that it was a fake. I thought it was a fake site, to be honest with you. Like the prices were so dirt cheap on everything that I figured it had to be a scam. And I've done Wish. Have you guys ever done Wish? Ordered from Wish?
Yes. Been there. Yeah.
I've got burned by Wish more times than I can count, and for some reason I still go back for them dirt cheap prices. So Alibaba had me thinking that it was like, you know, like a scam, like a Wish deal, and maybe it's not. You know, maybe it's not. If you know, if they got a legitimate stock, you know,
they do.
on the New York Stock Exchange, then it's the real deal.
They do. But so what I did is I spread some stuff. I also have like a buy order in at Ford, which is at 12. I've got a buy order in at 7. I don't think it'll go that low. I may have to increase that, but I think it will, but it might not. But Ford's coming out with a vehicle called the Lightning. It's an F-150. It's like the Tesla. I'm a huge Tesla fan. As a lot of you know, I own a Tesla, and I've got Tesla stock, and I'm really into Tesla. I love it. But anyway, and I've made money on Tesla. It's great. I wish I waited to buy my car, because if I invested that money in Tesla instead of a car, I could have bought two.
You and Pelosi.
Yeah. But I like Ford. Here's why I like Ford. They're coming out with a Lightning, which is the F-150 electric. It's like the Tesla Cybertruck. We've all heard, the Cybertruck. Well, the Lightning is the Cybertruck on steroids. It's got a more diverse flatbed in the back, like a work table. It carries more weight. It's going to be updated over the internet like a Tesla. It's going to have the range of a Tesla, and it's a Ford, right? So it's the F-150. I mean, can we talk? So I think when they release that Lightning, Ford's going to do pretty well. Also, they have a whole research lab, and they're going to give Tesla a run for the money down the road. You've got to remember, Ford is one of those companies that didn't need a bailout, that Chrysler and GM experienced in the 2008-2009 range. Ford never asked for a loan. They didn't need it. And of course, my father-in-law was a former Ford engineer. I kind of know the workings of inside Ford, and I've had a lot of Fords because of my family relationship, and I don't have to pay retail. But anyway, aside from that, I know about Ford, and I think that over the other automotive companies, when they release the Lightning, I'm going to be part of that ride when this thing gets out there. You know, and again, I'm looking forward. You know, because what's going to happen is the AMC and the Game Sto, you're going to get hit with a great big tax burden. That's going to happen, right? I know that. All right. So to counterbalance that tax burden, I'm thinking, okay, I want to put some stuff in the long. If I lose, I lose. You know, but I'm putting my money in things that I think, you know, long term they're going to be okay. Not tomorrow, maybe not even next year, maybe the year after that. Whatever, it's going to be okay. And whatever I do, forget about it. Just forget the money's even there. I don't need it. It's okay. It's going to sit in my bank or sit in.
If you think about it this way, here's a different way to think about it. You have a great plan, but the execution timing of your plan should be altered. Because if you think about it this way, and I truly believe it, you can research till you're blue in the face that the whole market is going to crash with AMC and GameStop and a bunch of other squeezing. Everything is going to go down. So your money is safest in these right now. So if you have your money in these, you're making money, you know, day trading, whatever, that's cool. But when this does happen and you got your money elsewhere, that's going to lose. So the strategy here is you're putting what you got, you know, putting into AMC and GameStop, and then when everything else crashes and you've made all your money, then you invest in these companies, you know, you reinvest. So you say, okay, the whole thing took a shit, but I made all this money, so now I can capitalize on everything that took a shit. You know what I mean? Rather than having your money in the shit that took a shit. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. You know something else interesting. There's a couple other oh, what are these other ones here that came up that look very promising? And I companies I never heard of, and I hear, the news and the gossip and the live streams and what the folks who run the live YouTubes are, watching the market every day, folks with a whole lot more experience and know-how than I have. And they mentioned a couple of initials, and they said, this is going up, and I have literally gone into a stock in the morning, taken the elevator ride up, and gotten out the next day and said, okay, I'm going to have a nice dinner tonight.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it, bud.
I mean,
you know that.
As long as you're seeing the profits, and you're reading the trends, you're good. But
I haven't lost yet, and I've only been doing this. I watch. I've got things going in, things going out. I guess they call that day trading. Is that what day trading is? I'm going in, I'm going out, I'm doing this, I'm playing this, I'm tossing this one, I'm exchanging this for that.
The key word that you just said was, I haven't lost yet.
Meaning
you're anticipating it at some point. You got to do it smart. You got to do it smart.
Yeah, the other thing is there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that AMC is going to hit the numbers that we're all saying it's going to hit. I mean, there is risk there. And this isn't something you're going to get into and say, hey, this is going to happen, because there is a chance that it won't. And there is that chance. It exists, I mean, I doubt. I think it's going to happen.
Somebody tell me. I've asked major people in hedge funds, in stocks, in trading.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can tell me why it won't squeeze. They made a movie about this, and I think I brought it up before. It's called The Big Short. And Hollywood straight up made a movie about it. This is going to be 10 times bigger than the one they made a movie about. So if you think of it, if somebody gives me a legitimate reason why this won't squeeze, I'll consider it. Nobody has told me why it won't squeeze. Even Chris, last week he said, what could happen is these whales could come in, these major whales, and just obliterate us. But you can't obliterate billions and billions upon trillions of dollars at this point. You know what I mean? At this point, you'd have to have the federal government come in, and which they can't.
They can't.
We just don't have enough money to make this thing not happen.
And let's explain that a little bit. Let's explain why.
Chapter 11.
Chapter 11. That would, but AMC is not going to go 11. They wanted it to. They thought it would. They thought this stock would be worth $2 or $3, and they all their options. And options are when they put a deposit on buying a stock or sell at a certain price, and that's when they buy short. They say, hey, I want to put this much deposit on this many shares of stock because I believe that this stock's going to go, let's say, $3, and it never does. It goes the other way, way up. There's an expiration date on that contract.
Chapter 11 could wipe you guys out.
Chapter 11 could. It could. Yeah, if AMC were to go bankrupt.
By the way, just real quick, I looked it up. Short-term gains are taxed the same as income, so it depends on your overall income bracket. Okay?
Yep. Well, no, capital
Long-term gains are at 15% or lower, held for at least a year, which I suspect is the buy date minus the sell date, or vice versa. So.
Right.
And another thing I found is Alibaba has 4.7 times Amazon's assets.
Yeah.
Of course, and income.
Yeah.
And
Alibaba is a long-term
good. The Chinese government, unlike our government, is actually going after them as a monopoly.
Really?
Yeah. They just hit them with a 20%
if they got 4.7
fine.
times. They got 4.7 times Amazon. Hell yeah, it's a monopoly. Amazon's killing it.
No, China's a lot bigger. Bigger. But they just got hit with a fine from the Chinese government for monopolistic practices, which was 26% of their gross income for the year.
Oh my goodness.
That probably.
Too bad we don't have a government that would do that.
Imagine.
They hit Amazon with a windfall and others with a windfall profits tax to pay for a universal basic income.
Talking of tax, President Biden posted yesterday on Twitter, I can't believe this has to be said, but a teacher shouldn't pay a higher tax rate than a hedge fund manager. I agree.
I agree. You agree?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Biden said that, huh?
Yeah, he did on Twitter, yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
he needs more support.
He's been saying that he's going to make it, this is, I'm going to see how this plays out. But basically, he is saying that he wants to give the opportunity to retail investors, to blue collar, for us to be able to make the gains that these white collar and hedge funds and all these market makers have. So he said it publicly. He tweeted it out, and I'm curious to see how he backs it up. Because if he's saying that right now, I want retail investors to win. The president of our country is saying that publicly. I think we're on to something.
I think so.
I wish he were Lyndon Johnson. Johnson worked the phones and he knew how to extort the Congress critters.
Yeah.
And he would get stuff passed that they didn't want to pass. But right now we're looking at a minimum of Manchin and Sinema. Sinema, who said, I will not vote for any tax increase. And you're going to have to either sit on them or find a couple Republicans who will vote for it, which, good luck.
Good luck,
Yeah, so you can say whatever you want, but the reality up in the Senate, one of the most profoundly undemocratic wings of our government, along with the Electoral College, that's where the rubber meets the road.
Man, you just made a damn good point. You just made a really good point, because it got me thinking. I was so out of Trump days that I'm like, well, if the president says it, it has to happen. No, I forgot all about Trump. The president can say whatever the hell he wants, and it can be a lie.
It even took Lyndon Johnson almost a year to get anything to happen.
Yeah.
And he knew how to do it.
Well, Biden said 19 hours ago, this is our moment to prove to the American people that their government works for them and not just big corporations and those at the top. Let's see if he puts that into action.
Yeah.
That means he's got an agenda. That means he's got an agenda. He's got something on his mind. He's got something in the works. It does reinforce it to me, because Biden, from what I've seen so far, when he says he's going to do something, he does it. It's like we lived in a universe where that didn't happen.
Oh my God, it's
unbelievable. There's no reason to doubt him so far. Even with the vaccine mandates, he's like, I'm just going to do it. And I believe that he will. I believe that he'll do what he says he's going to do. So, in my mind, at least, it's a good thing that he follows through.
I think what we're seeing. I've been watching Biden since I started loathing him in the '80s for what he did to Anita Hill, and it's been interesting the last since he took office. He has a significant advantage because he's so damn old. He's not going to run again.
Yeah.
So this is his 2 years of an opportunity to do something real, and all of a sudden the guy, whether it's cognitive deficiencies or just maybe he's a really nice guy, but he's starting to act as if he actually believes the campaign rhetoric that he's been spewing for 30 years while he's done the opposite. So it's been quite refreshing in a way, because all of a sudden he sounds like he believes this shit.
Yeah.
When all of his actions in the 48 years he was in Congress argued the opposite. So it's interesting. As the Chinese curse goes, may you live in interesting times, and we do.
I like that you have I like that you have the wisdom all the way back then. Obviously, I'm 35. I don't have that wisdom yet, so I like that we have somebody on the show that's like knows where this guy came from and followed this all the way. It's like, I knew him from 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, I resigned from the military in '64 because I didn't want to go fight Lyndon Johnson's war for him. So I've been watching these guys ever since.
Paying close attention.
Yeah, well, different levels of attention, but it got real close when Nixon got elected. I almost got clobbered by San Mateo County deputy sheriffs with their long clubs, the 3-foot clubs, the night of his election. I just missed it. I was a block away when they surrounded our demonstration and started beating people up. I could hear the crunches of the clubs against their heads, and then I started paying real close attention to the whole political thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Self-defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, what do we have? Another 30 minutes before. No, this market closed. Right, it closed. Half hour. I'm looking at the wrong time here. Yeah, we're done. We're done for the week. So Neo
rang the bell.
Neo is up. 3751. Baba is up. Planar Technologies is up. Tesla is up. Wow. That nose cloning company is up.
Yep. You'll see the whole market.
Did the orange juice futures come in?
Futures. It's interesting.
The orange juice futures.
Orange juice futures. Potatoes.
Yeah. Remember that movie, Trading Places?
I do remember.
Oh yeah, classic.
Yeah. What was it? What?
Dan Aykroyd and
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah, classic.
And
classic movie. Those guys, those two other guys were just legends.
Donna
They
Meese
were so
was
funny.
in it too.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So that's how you can see, Andy, is if you look, and AMC and GameStop are both red. I'm sure they both closed red today. You'll see all the other stocks will be up because the hedge funds have put everything they got into short the shit out of us to try and get that number down. So that all the other stocks you'll see it's just how this goes. I mean, so if you're you are getting into this and you are starting to like this, if you're predicting red days for GameStop and Amazon, then other things are going to have green days. So you could straight up invest in the other things that you like because they're going to be green because AMC and GameStop are down. Because you have to think of these are market makers. These are people that control this whole market. They're putting everything they got into us to getting that number down to ease the pain that they're about to go through, and you just make money on the other stocks. So it's a simple play.
Yeah, I've been that's what I've been doing. I've been just like you said. It's to me. I mean, I took a bunch of cash out that I have. It's sitting in the bank, literally in a checking account, not doing anything, just sitting in a bank. So I figured, you know what? I'm not that busy. I want to play a little bit here. So I
I've heard that line before, Andy.
I'm not so busy. So be it. You know what I'm saying?
The guitar string's getting rusty in the corner there, huh?
Yeah. But it's just been, and this might be a phase. I mean, who knows? But it's new to me, so it's like I'm a kid, and I'm just having. And
it's
so
a terrible
far,
twos.
It is, but I'm not. Again, as Lee was saying earlier, you don't bet with anything you can't afford to lose. So if I didn't have it, I wouldn't affect my life either way. I'm good. So what I'm doing is just like Lee example. You see the AMC and GameStop's going down only for a little while. They're going to go way up. Just watch. But we know that. But on a daily basis, you watch them go down a little bit. You see where their stocks are going up. I take some of the lost money out of those stocks. I put them in the ones that are going up. I go for the ride. I see where I land. I like it or I don't. I get out. I do something else. Bam, bam, bam. So I'm just having fun with it. That's all. I'm like I'm just like at a casino, except it's much better. Much. It's healthier too. Yeah.
So I gotta touch on, because I left it unsaid here with the Chapter 11 thing with AMC and Chapter 11. So AMC at the beginning of this year said that they have enough liquidity to be in business without making a dollar until the end of 2022. So they're already saying we're financially okay as it is right now with how much money we pumped into this thing. Like, we're all good. So on top of that, they are making so many smart moves right now. Like, I'm so impressed with Adam Aron and AMC. Like, if you forget the squeeze completely, I'm so impressed with this company. They're accepting Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. They are they're looking at the sporting events. They're having UFC fights. They're looking at NFTs now. Did you hear that? The latest thing is
yes.
You know, the NFTs that they're going to start making. You know, he said, well, we put out 50 movies a year, and we can make one NFT stub and sell that, you know, to whoever, and they can get a boatload of money for it if it's somebody's favorite movie or whatnot. They are keeping up with the times, and it's so important for a company, especially when you got a hell of a lot of millennials that own your stock, you know, that own the company. He's listening to us. All these ideas came from us, and the fact that he's putting them into play is just so smart. So AMC is rock solid to me, with or without a squeeze. You know what I mean? So he even said publicly, he couldn't say what, but he said publicly that they're in talks with GameStop.
That's right, last week.
He couldn't say what, but he said we're talking to them. So he said that for a reason. You know, he's not going to bring it up unless something's going down. And GameStop, what they have going on right now is, this is breaking news, I think Wednesday, is they started to do, it's called computer share. So what they're doing is they're taking their shares off of the New York Stock Exchange, and you're going to have registered shares. So you'll have an actual serial number for your share, which I predicted. You know, I talked about this months ago. They pulled the trigger on this. So once they already said they have more than the float. They basically ran out of paper to print these stocks onto actual bonds like back in the 1900s, literally. So they said that they already have their float. So once this happens, all these naked shorts are exposed, and when that happens, that's an automatic squeeze for GameStop. And when GameStop squeezes, AMC squeezes. So this whole thing is coming to fruition exactly the way that we said that it would, which is amazing. Like, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pat my damn self on the back.
And you should.
If you held out for this shit and you took this ride and it's playing out the exact way that we said it would, congratulations. And I'm just happy for everyone that got involved with this, because our day is upon us, my friends. I promise.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just wish it went down. I think you were first on the show, Lee, in the end of July, and a week later or 2 weeks later, the stock went from 58 to 29, and I went in shortly thereafter when it started going back up. But I just wish I had gone in at 29 and just put a wad of cash in, right? Just sit it there and just forget about it. Just goodbye.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is what I had to do. Like, I made up my mind. It was at $14 a share. I made up my mind.
Whoa.
You know what? I'm going in. My buddy says it's good to go. I'm going in. And then it dropped to 9, and I'm like, oh man. Easily I could have just said, nope, not doing it. This is not for me. But I just doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, and just kept going in and in and in. And that's exactly what everyone's doing, and that's exactly why the hedge funds are screaming from the top of their heads right now. What the hell is this?
You know, and Adam Aron, you were saying, the chairman of AMC was, he was interviewed and said that, there was, for the longest period of time, forever, AMC stock was owned by institutional investors. Now it's owned by moviegoers, but now it's owned by consumers. They own our company now. And as a matter of fact, I think I told you last week, Lee, I found out that he graduated high school with like a very good friend of mine, a business partner's brother at Abington High School in outside of Philadelphia. So, and he knows him. So, and matter of fact, he used to be a marketing. Aaron was the marketing director of United Airlines for a while and had some other aviation interests. But aside from that, so given that relationship of Abington High School and a really good friend of mine's brother, I wrote him an email, and I asked him if he might be hiring any ticket takers because I might need a job after this whole thing is over. Anyway. Would you like to try our new popcorn, ma'am?
I'll play the guitar while you wait. So did they get back to you with this email? You were talking about this last week on the show.
Yeah, I haven't heard back yet, but
they haven't got back, okay.
But give it some time. We'll see. I mean, he might see the Abington and my friend's brother, who I know. Obviously, I've known the whole family for decades. I mentioned his name at Abington High School where he graduated. It might, oh yeah, man, oh yeah, how people are. They might say, oh yeah, let me, just give him a quick hello or something. Thank you, because I told him I was investing in the stock and believer in the company and blah blah blah, all the appropriate things I said. And hopefully he'll come back to me and just, if nothing else, just give me a shout out. Hey, whatever. Who knows? Maybe he won't, but maybe he will.
Yeah. Will and I were talking last night. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Amanda.
No, carry on, please, sweetheart. Carry on.
Okay, so Will and I were talking last night and came up with this idea, which I think, if we can get all the apes on board with this, we would solidify the company even further, was if every single shareholder, there's, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 million of us at this point. Mm-hmm. If we all bought a $100 gift card to AMC, technically, if 4 or 5 million of us, if we all did that, $100 a pop, because you're going to go see the movies, you just buy it ahead of time.
Yeah.
It would take them out of debt. It would take their $500 million and it would wipe their debt clean.
Whoa!
And you got nothing. You got nothing to worry about.
That's a genius idea.
But.
Oh, they're on butts again. Put them away.
Knock it off.
Do you guys know much about the Motley Fool on the internet?
Oh yeah, we know him. We know him real well. Wait a minute, we have a song for him. Wait.
What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor?
Early in the morning.
Oh, pass me a beer.
I may like that song.
Pipe on him, put him in the cup.
I love that song.
That's right.
Well, the Motley Fool.
About 12.
The Motley Fool promoting a site on the internet founded by two brothers, Tom and David Gardner. And they, offer financial help and freedom and stuff like that, promoting that kind of thing through like podcast, books, and I think they got the radio show and premium investing services. And they're really slating AMC and Game Sto at the moment, saying don't invest in them. They go into details about how much loss they've had. Like I think stock has generally been 26% down over so many years since. I think 2017 to now, I think is what they're saying. And, doing everything they can to say,
here's the issue with that. If you look at, first of all, two things. If you look at GameStop as a regular, let's say there was no squeeze, forget it. Doesn't exist. It never happened. No prediction squeeze. Just in terms of investment, there's two things. AMC is showing a $25 billion, capital B, dollar debt right now. That is not true because in that $25 billion is $6 billion of operating costs, theater rentals, renting real estate and operating costs that somehow got looped into their debt, which is day-to-day operating costs. It's not real debt. It's what they cost them to do their business. So that takes $6 billion of that away right away. The other thing is they've also had some capital investment. The thing is this too, that COVID affected every business. Obviously, and nobody could go to the movies for a long time. But AMC has kind of hedged that, and they're doing things right now, and they've done things. They've done things for the past 4 or 5 months, 6 months, that are really starting to put their business, as Lee said earlier, and the things they're getting into with sports and concerts and different things that they're going to diversify, not just movies, they're really thinking ahead of the game. They're really riding that leading edge. So even if there was no squeeze, I would say, you know what? First of all, I don't think AMC would be where it is if there wasn't. But even if they were down in the $3 or $4 to $6 range, which is probably where they would be, right around there. I would say
they would have been bankrupt. They would have been done if we didn't step in. They would have disappeared. Like Blockbuster, like Toys R Us, the GameStop and AMC would be done. You'd never see them again.
They'd be out of it. They'd be out of it.
And now they're paying us back. They're paying us back. It's great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it really is. It really is.
It really is.
But I so when you hear these Motley Fool people, is that his name? What's his name? Motley Crue?
The site is called the Motley Fool.
Motley Fool.
Apparently, they do well with advising on stock markets and stuff like that. And
but they are like they're part of the conversation.
I
of the
read
hedge
their
funds
article on AMC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about this stuff because I don't have enough money to play. But
if you got $44.20, you got enough money to play, buddy.
Yeah.
You could.
Oh, yeah. I had some money in the market. A little bit of money, and I was in a socially responsible fund, which actually appreciated by about 12% when I sold it. And then Trump got elected, and I figured that the market was going to tank, so I just got the fuck out. And of course, it'd be worth 3 times what it was, and I'd be a lot better off. But I didn't know that. Shit, I have bought. Here we go. Before I bought my farm, I was involved in 3 houses. I bought 3 houses over my lifetime.
Wow.
And I lost shit piles of money every fucking time because I would be caught in a housing bubble when I bought it, and then it would burst, and I'd get fucked. So I don't trust putting my money in. I got like the opposite of a green thumb when it comes to putting my money into any kind of quote investment end quote.
Yeah.
So, although I guess
I understand.
my farm is worth twice what I paid for it.
Well, there you go. Here's what I would say. And we talked about the mechanics of the squeeze, and I'm going to kind of go back to something we were talking about, an hour ago or whatever it was in the show, and that is when Lee said he hasn't read an article or seen anybody who can explain why the squeeze won't happen, and he's dead on unless again we say what Chet was saying, well, bankruptcy, but the chances of that are very remote as well. But here's why the squeeze, it's nothing's guaranteed, but as close as you can get to that. Because, as we were saying earlier, the institutional investors that were saying AMC is not going to make it, this is a sure thing, and they put billions of dollars into it, 513, I don't know, some big, huge number, into gambling, like going to casinos, saying we're going to put out on them not making it, and we're going to put it on black, and our black equivalent to casino bet, red or black, the black is a low number. But when they do that, they sign a contract, and it says that we are obligating ourselves. If we're wrong, then we have to pay. We have to pay all that money. We know, but we're not. We feel pretty confident AMC ain't going to go anywhere. So this is a sure bet. But what's happening is Lee and I and Amanda and Cornell and 3.2 million or more other people are not letting it happen. We're driving it the other way. So there's going to be a point where the bet that they made, the casino's going to come in and call in their chips. Sorry, it's over. And these short bets have to be canceled and paid for. But when they pay for them, who gets paid? Lee gets paid. Well, not everything.
Wait a minute. What about
basically, I could probably boil it down to, it sounds like you guys are making a little bit more secure than normal bet that you know what the horrible creatures who drive the Ponzi scheme are planning.
Yeah,
so
I mean, this
it's kind of cool. I love the way GameStop went, and I guess AMC is another example of like the GameStop phenomenon, where the movers and shakers are being opposed by millions of people who are taking advantage of the mechanism to go against what they want to happen. I think that's delightful. And
it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm glad you're doing well.
It's amazing to be part of the cause, because and I've said this over and over again. I love that I'm going to make money off this. That's all fine and dandy. But when you're sticking it to the people that have been sticking it to everyone else, your whole life.
The maraschino cherry on top of the sundae. Of course, you guys, you know what the secret to comedy is? Timing.
Yes.
Timing. Yep.
Yes.
Timing is everything.
So, as long as you get out in time.
Oh, absolutely. It's the same when you need the bathroom.
You gotta know when to go.
The Motley Fools were saying that probably weren't going to go chapter 13 or 11 before 2023. So you got another year or two to play.
Yeah, and they can't afford to keep doing this. I mean, the short interest alone. Gosh, I wish I had the number in front of me. I'm driving. The short interest alone that they're charging now is just astronomical. It's like, you could have all the money in the world, and it's just not enough. It's not enough to keep this going forever. So if we're good till 2022, even into 2023, I strongly believe that they can't afford to do this. They can't afford to have everybody else sell out, because if there's one thing that this is GameStop has been going on for a long time. We know that this, short squeeze happened, which wasn't the big one, but we all know that this happened. But those people were on that forever before that happened, and then these are the same people that are in AMC. So we got resilience. You could do this all day long, and I promise you I'll be here buying more.
And here's the number you can remember on the short-term capital gains. For anybody making under like 150 grand, your effective tax rate is probably only going to be about 15 to 20% on the short-term gain. So you can do your own math and decide, when you've made enough money.
You're saying that's under 150.
If the tax rate for 85,000 to 163.3 is 24%, but that's on the amount over 85 grand. So it's the marginal rate. So your effective tax rate, let's say you sell a bunch of stock and your income for the year is about 120 grand. You're really only going to pay 20% on that short-term gain.
I see what you're saying.
On the entire
we're
income.
We're talking about millions. We're talking about millions. So that's
Are
the
you guys
problem.
making millions?
Yeah, we will be.
Yes.
I mean, not as of now.
Okay.
But
then you're looking at 37%. So it depends on, that's the top bracket over 518, which of course anything under 518 is taxed at lower bracket.
Let's say that you're making $100,000 a year without stock market. That's just what you do. You're making $100,000 a year. Are you saying that they will tax you on what your normal income is? No matter how much you sell, how much you make.
If you make $100,000,
just as your job, your salary.
As your job, lucky bastard. And that's my AG AGI last year was 15, so I mean, you know. So okay, you're lucky bastard. 100 grand a year, and what? You sell how much stock?
Let's say I make $3 million in stock.
Well, then you're gonna keep at least $2 million of it. So how much have you got into it?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The equation. It's what
are they basing the tax off of what your salary is or what you sold the stock?
It's salary plus. It's all income. So what all they do is the capital gains is another piece that goes in the income column. So with your gross pay plus, and then capital gain is another line that's in your income line, and then you add those up, and then you take deductions, and that's your AGI, and that's what you pay tax on.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like regular income. It's like you go out for a second job. Yeah.
Chris, if you're listening, call in.
That's for short-term gain.
Yeah, no, I was on the impression
long-term gain, you get a huge.
I was on the impression that the capital gains get taxed. If you are short-term, if you hold your tax for less than a year, that your gain, your short-term in and out, is much higher than your normal income tax would be based on your income. What you're saying is it's all lumped together as your income.
No, it's not, Andy. That's what I'm saying.
No?
Your short-term gain, if you buy and sell within a year, it's taxed as regular income, just like your wages.
Right. And how about over a year?
If it's long-term gain, if you hold the stock for over a year, then your effective rate is 15% or lower.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask Chris about some of these things.
It's a lot simpler than you guys are trying to make it.
Well, we had the accountant on last week. That's why I'm like, he said differently, but we didn't get this deep into it. He based it off of that you're going to get taxed off of your short term, and it has nothing to do with your income. Is how he said this whole thing. So I'm curious.
No, that's a common misconception. Yeah. It's the long term where you get the huge tax break.
Yeah, he did say that.
The rich people get the huge tax break. Yeah, everybody gets screwed for 15% or 10%.
Well, I don't feel if that's true, then let me go ahead and buy some more AMC right now. Hold on a second.
I don't know how much you're going to get for that Tesla when you need to liquidate everything.
Yeah, here's what I would recommend, and I Lee taught me everything I know. Even how to play drunken sailor.
Where's that applause thing at?
Yeah, where's that? But anyway, so what I would recommend doing is, Chet, even if you have $90, $100, buy a couple shares, 2 or 3 shares. Go to Fidelity Investments, open up an account, commission free. Transfer from your checking or bank account to Fidelity, $90. Buy a couple shares of AMC. And don't go back to that website again so the squeeze happens, and then go see what that $90 in for you. And you'll be very, very happy.
Actually, I still have 25 cents in my Schwab account.
There you go. You do?
They send.
He gets the applause.
They said, that's all I left in there. I'm not earning much in interest, but they do send me this nice glossy company report every year and a magazine every quarter. So.
Well, if you think about it this way, let's say that you take 2 shares. That's what, $88 right now. You buy 2 shares, and if what we're saying is correct, you'll either have gambled $88, or you'll have made $20,000.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you guys, I think
that's the numbers that we're looking at right now.
I think you guys have convinced me to join the faith-based
yes, we got
drive the stock price up club.
Yes, Chet, do it.
I might just throw a couple hundred in there.
Do it, Chet, do it.
Join the ape train, darling, the ape train.
I made that much in the last 2 farmers market gigs, so, it's just easy money.
Yeah.
It's just for me, when I think about it, I personally got $5,000 into it. And when I think what that $5,000 would have done if it wasn't in it, and what it could be if I lost that $5,000, it's not going to break me. I'm going to continue on. So if you think about if I just threw a couple $100 in this, hey, and what it could be, I mean, to me, it's no brainer.
I had to pay more than that for car repairs for my Mazda that's still sitting there. Because I'm waiting for a call. I was waiting for a call from my fourth mechanic to finally get it fixed right, and I discovered yesterday that they had my old phone number.
Oh, okay.
So I have an appointment to take it in on October 7th. I originally put it in the shop in February 17th to get the ticking fixed.
Oh wow. I bet that really ticked you off.
And it's still ticking, yeah. And I'm still ticking. I can't drive it.
No.
Mazda Miata.
I hate when that happens.
Get a Flintstones car. You can't go wrong with that. You get some great workout, rarely breaks down.
Oh, yeah. Especially 22 miles of hilly mountain road here in Hawaii. To the nearest
next, like Arnold Schwarzenegger by the time you finish.
I think Lee, we're echoing again.
Yeah, Lee's echoing.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
He's echoing success.
I'm echoing success, yes. I love it, Amanda. Well, I am just sitting here in the parking lot. I'm at my destination, so I can wrap with you guys.
You're at your depth.
What I think is, we're actually running a little over here, but what I think, I really do think, Chet, that, a couple $100 and just put it in there, and,
Yeah.
And Chet,
there you go. There's a proper applause.
Yeah. And Chet is going to join Ape Nation. Yeah. All right. And
we got to work on our tour.
We do. I know. Things are opening up. Things are opening up.
Well, they moved the NAMM show to June. Guy.
I heard.
So,
I got that email.
Yeah. So maybe we could work something up around that time. Maybe it'll let loose enough.
Let's do it. We'll talk for sure. It'd be great to do. It'd be great. I think about it often. But anyway, Chet, folks, for those is a phenomenal producer, bass player, guitar player, singer, songwriter. Been doing it forever and a day. Real, just great. That's how we met through music. So, matter of fact, Amanda and I. Well, no, we met. Well, Amanda's a musician. Cornell, who put us together as a musician. A lot of musicians taking part in this program here. And we expect you two folks, whether you play anything or not. Future shows, our numbers, 515-605-9888. We welcome you to join this amazing conversation that we happen to have 3 times a week. And, of course, people download this thing on podcasts, iHeartRadio, and iTunes, and Alexa, and Chrome, and Google, and Pandora, and all these different platforms that we're on. It's great to see these numbers, great to have these listeners. But we do have to run. We have to wrap up another Friday show here, and we want to thank Chet again. It's been too long for joining us, and of course our Friday special guest.
His name is Lee Van Dusen, and if you're interested in hearing more, you can follow me on IG at Static Video Productions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to learn to play ukulele.
Yeah. No, Lee Van Dusen. It's great having Lee on every Friday, and seriously. But And we'll be back at you again. We won't be here on Monday. Actually, I've got a recording session. I'm having somebody come in and record some tunes on Monday, which is going to prevent me from doing the Monday morning show like we normally do. So we're looking at Wednesday right now, Amanda. We're looking at Wednesday.
Okay.
So we'll be back Wednesday. Wednesday will be at, let me think here. Wednesday will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time. So noon or 9 o'clock Hawaii or 5 p.m. in the UK, something like that. Yeah. So
I can do that.
Hey, man. Yeah. And we welcome anybody. Get involved. Join our show, 515-605-9888 again. And we look forward to that happening. Fidelity Investments, open an account, AMC. Don't say we didn't tell you.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Be patient.
Only on the Andy and Amanda show.
Only on the Andy and Amanda show.
And remember, if you're driving home, be sure to take your car.
Yeah. You bet. And that being said, you could look it up. What we're saying is based on our own research and not just, we think this is going to happen, but it's based on research and knowledge and talking to other people and having conversations and seeing what's going on out there and reading mechanics and how all this stuff works and draw your own conclusion. And there's no way it won't be what our conclusion is when you're finished doing that, which is really,
Ooh,
yeah.
That sounded like a wet one.
Andy had too much coffee this morning.
My goodness. Let me hand you the wet wipes.
Yeah. Just remember, no matter what you do, you're going to end up as worm food. So whatever.
Well,
somehow.
Make the most
really,
of it. Folks, you can.
Yeah. So listen, we'll see you next week on the next Andy and Amanda show. And that being said, we know how this show works.
The human element has been removed.
That too. But aside from that, it's a pleasure doing this. And Amanda, why don't you go ahead and sign us off of this show?
Okay, so on behalf of my co-host, Andy Kimball in California, Hollywood, myself, Amanda Love here in the UK, thank you so much to Chet Gardner for calling in. Always a pleasure, my darling. And to our epic Lee Van Dusen for joining us again for another show. Thank you to you guys, the listeners, for joining our rocket to the moon, because that's where we're going, baby. So join us on Wednesday's show. Yeah. Yes. Join us on Wednesday's show for a lot more fun and entertainment. And thank you for sticking with us. We love you. Have an amazing weekend and take care.
Take care, folks. We're out of here.
Aloha.